Hey guys, this is Davis Mallory, and I'm joined today by Chloe Nache. She is from Hugo, Oklahoma. She's a self-taught, full-time freelance creative artist. It's been a long time in the making.
It has.
How many years have you been at this?
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, maybe it started in like 2020.
Okay.
But it took a lot of bartending, cleaning shifts to get there.
Yeah. And so one of your looks is going to be on the runway at Fashion Week this year in New York City.
A week away.
We'll be getting to that in a moment.
Yeah.
And you have designed work for country stars, including Ernest, Raelyn, Jelly Roll's wife, Bunny, Luke Combs' wife, Nicole, and Caroline Munsick, to list a few.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get to know you on this week's episode of Leaving a Legacy.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Don't let it shake your faith when it seems like you're so far from amazing grace.
So talk to me about Fashion Week. Let's jump right into it. So in just a week away.
Yeah. So I guess I should back up that story a little bit. I started working for a hat company called Sadie James Hat Co., sporting one of her designs today. It's great for a bad hair day. Yeah. So I started working for her in February, which was honestly a dream job, thankfully, to get me out of bartending and whatnot. And we've created such a great relationship with each other. So it's just us with the company. And she got to go to Paris Fashion Week with one of her collections in February or January. And so her looks were phenomenal. I'll have to show you later. But so she got invited back to New York Fashion Week, literally.
We can show you guys some of them.
Absolutely, yeah. She got invited back to New York Fashion Week this year, and that's in like a week and a half.
Yep.
And so I wasn't expecting it. I thought I would just kind of be hands-on, doing some small things, helping her on some looks, but she decided to give me my own look for the runway, so I'm super grateful for that opportunity.
Are you walking it, or do you have a model walking it?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely not walking it.
Okay, you never know.
Yeah, that would be awesome, but thankfully there's going to be a model walking.
What is it exactly, the look?
So her whole design collection is based around outlaws. Running with the Rebels is the title of that. So it plays into her last storyline from Paris Fashion Week. I'll definitely have to share more once it comes out. I'm not sure how much I can share at this point.
Yeah, of course.
And it also ties into a little bit of faith in the background. So I love that, that there's more purpose behind it other than just a creative vision there. And
you designed the jacket that you're wearing right now, which also has like faith-based messaging.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to create a piece to take to New York to wear out, while we're going to dinner and all that. And just to represent my work, represent my faith, and put that out there. I feel like, especially in big cities, and maybe even the fashion industry could use some more authenticity, and especially like faith.
Well, do you want to dive into that next?
Yeah.
Yeah? And talk to me about your faith. You were raised in Oklahoma, a small town, I imagine. Haven't heard of Hugo myself.
No.
Where is Hugo on the map?
Have you heard of Oklahoma? Or
I've heard of Oklahoma. I've maybe drove through it, but I have not spent much time in it.
Yeah. Okay. So growing up, I did grow up in a Christian family. Thank the Lord. I'm like, think about it sometimes. I don't know where I'd be if I wasn't. So we grew up non-denominational, and it's honestly taken me to the last probably 3 years of my life to really see what it looks like and learn what it looks like to have my own relationship with the Lord.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's just a crazy walk, a crazy journey through life, seriously. Just learning how to walk with God and also be a part of the world, especially in the creative industry where sometimes it's not as welcomed. Or even in the music industry for people. So yeah, just learning how to navigate that.
Have you ever been in a situation where you might have had to compromise or like kind of?
Probably when I was younger, like teen years, or first starting out, especially while bartending, kind of put that on the back burner and like didn't talk about it as much. But I was also going through kind of a rough patch with my
Sure.
walk.
Yeah.
But in the last 2 years, like the stronger it gets, like I don't care what people think, you know, because Jesus died on the cross for our sins, and so that is most important. To share, to not care what people think.
I mean, as life has gotten pretty crazy. I mean, the world has gotten crazier and crazier in the last 4 or 5 years. It feels the pandemic and with so much like political stuff, going on, and it really, you can really see. I mean, there's good and bad on this planet, and I 100%. Think that it's striving towards righteousness and striving towards just doing the right thing and 100%. Things like that is not so popularized in movies or music, really. Or it's really the opposite is encouraged in so much films and so much TV and in so many lyrics of music and stuff. And it seems almost crazy that you're like, we have a faith that encourages us to do the right thing and to be like Jesus as much as we can, which was basically the perfect man or like a sinless person. And so being that and should be like applauded and should be represented in movies and should be represented in music 100%. And should be made cool because it's simple. It's just that you're trying to do right by other people, love each other, like, treat everyone the same, you know. But instead, this world we live in is popularizes having affairs and, murder movies and all this dramatic movies and TV shows, reality shows with people being mean to each other is so popular and stuff. So I'm sure that in the entertainment industry, which you are walking right into, I mean, it should be really widely accepted and like, but at the same time, it's like,
it's not.
It's crazy.
But like you said, all the things that are in the movies and projected at us and popularized is what our flesh wants. And so, it's a constant battle between flesh and spirit. And I mean, I think one thing I want to try to do more in my art is make Christianity cool, if that makes sense. I feel like sometimes it gets a bad rap, or even just Christians, and how Christians can be like boring, or, they don't have any fun, or they don't dress the best. I've heard like all different stereotypes for Christians, but I would love to just make Christianity cool and attractive in my art, and not just attractive, but for the right reasons, of course. Because that is so cool.
When I was a kid, we did a thing at my church, and it was about atheists, and it talked about famous atheists, and like Marilyn Manson was one they talked about, and he said the reason that he was an atheist was because of the way Christians treated him. And then they really honed in on the fact that most people who are atheists are because of the way a Christian was treating them.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
So it's a lot of times it's Christians that are creating that same bad reputation because of maybe their misinterpretation of the Bible or their own faults and their own flaws, because we're not perfect people. And so they misrepresent the faith, and then they ward people off because they hurt other people,
I think that's a great thing to bring up. I've been hurt by Christians. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. A lot of people have church hurt. Thankfully, I've been able to look past that and just know that this religion isn't because of Christians. It's not because of the followers. We follow Jesus because we aren't perfect. And there's a sense of peace and forgiveness there.
Because the relationship is with God, the Father, the Holy Spirit, with Jesus, who are all essentially the same being. And so the relationship is not with us as humans. It's not with each other. It's really with God. And so, like you were saying, a lot of times Christians hurt each other, and we are hurt by other Christians, and we are going to hurt each other because we're sinful beings.
Absolutely.
We're not perfect. But the relationship isn't with each other necessarily. It's with the Creator, with the Holy Spirit, with God.
And that's sometimes such a hard thing to navigate through everything that's going on in the world.
Because I've been hurt by family members and friends who profess to be Christians and are Christians. It's just that they can and will hurt us.
100%. I think that we could all do a better job as Christians. I think the biggest thing is forgiveness and grace, and not being so judgmental of people that don't live by the Bible. Because none of us live 100% by the Bible. And that's the beauty of it, is that we're still forgiven once we have that relationship and accept Jesus into our lives. So yeah, I wish the world wasn't so judgmental.
Yeah. Well, getting back to your work, I mean, show me what's on your jacket. Like, I can only see the front, but we can maybe either show you guys a picture of it or you can spin around.
Okay, I'll spin around.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how much room I have to spin around, but
I can see there. Jesus in the back, yeah.
Jesus in the back. I honestly forgot what I put on the back. I do have the Lord's Prayer on this arm.
Nice.
And just some little pieces of things that remind me of Christianity. The olive branch, my angel wing over here, and then get out of that grave. I love that saying. And then graves into gardens. Love that Bible verse too. Just talking about how God can take, a dead soul and turn it new and make it beautiful and make you reborn.
Yeah.
It's like crazy to think about, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, you hear about people in jail who get converted and their lives change. I mean, really, there's no day in one's life where you can't have a miracle and you can't
100%.
change,
You're never
turn
too
around.
far gone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Never too late to turn around.
Which I'm speaking to myself too. Like, I feel like it's so easy as Christians to be so hard on yourself. But I heard a preacher saying, like, God commands us to forgive everybody. Like, why do you think that you're an exception from that? Like, you've got to forgive yourself too. And I'm like, that's good.
It's so true. I mean, sometimes when you're angry at someone, you have to tell yourself, I'm going to forgive them. But then there's also that step about, like, well, forgive myself as well. Maybe first. Like, maybe I played a role in the fault that the problem started between me and that person. And maybe there's some forgiveness to myself that needs to be worked on in there as well.
100%.
Yeah.
All about grace, forgiveness. Love it.
Yeah. Well, so talk to me about your pursuit to be an artist, a visual artist. Like, when did that begin for you?
Probably right after COVID, I'd say. I really dove deep into it. Thankfully, I've had a few family members in my life growing up that have kind of kept me creative, whether they would take me to painting classes or jewelry making classes or, you name it, just different things. I never was super serious about it until a couple years ago. But yeah, I'm so thankful to have that talent and to have that passion because it really does give me purpose, and I couldn't think of doing anything else.
Now, as a little kid, were you also doing this kind of things though too?
I don't think so. I would sketch a little bit. Thankfully, my mom was nice enough to encourage me and like frame my stuff on the wall in one of the rooms in the house. And it was probably terrible back then, but it's all about encouragement. So I appreciate just the people in my life that support me and that bring that encouragement to the table. Because I definitely have a lot of people telling me that I'll never make it in this career or this industry, or that it's never going to bring me enough money. But regardless of the money, it is my passion, and I do feel like God has placed that calling on my life. I think it's funny, like, if I'll go on vacation or have to be away from my studio for a couple of days, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to get back. And, like, I need to have my hands on something, Yeah. I'm sure you feel the same way about, like, music and creating.
Yeah. So back to what you were saying. With regards to artists, was there, like, an influence on you? Did you have an artist that you saw? You were like, I want to be like him or her, or what kind of led you to?
Funny enough, I did not.
No?
Not a specific one. I would kind of see pieces here and there that really intrigued me. I think besides like adding faith into some of my pieces, I come from that Western background in Oklahoma and I have some family that, rodeos and all that. And I love that kind of lifestyle and I love that fashion. And I also love streetwear and street art, the graffiti. And so I would love to do more of combining those pieces in the future. Yeah.
What about like Native American? Isn't there a large like Native American presence in Oklahoma?
There is. Yeah. So Hugo's actually in Choctaw County.
Yeah.
And I don't dabble too much in the Native American art just because I know can be controversy about if you're not from that culture,
Sure.
people can be very protective about who is representing that culture. And I would never want to not represent it in the right way,
Sure.
you know, so.
And more so,
I
meant,
respect
like,
it.
did you, like, observe it? Did it influence you in some
yeah,
ways?
absolutely.
Like, seeing it and being around it, like, growing up around it?
Yeah, I love the culture. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
They have so many traditions that they do. It does play into Western, but I think I lean more towards the Western cowboy style.
Yeah.
I love that.
I only say that because I went in Phoenix to the Phoenix. There's a Native American art exhibit that just represents Native American art, and I saw it and I was like, wow, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Like their use of color, the things that they're doing, it's like so different than the art that I'm used to seeing at a normal art exhibit.
Yeah.
Maybe most of the stuff I've seen is like the Monet, Picasso type impressionist styles, like paintings, and I'm like, you go to a Native American exhibit and it's super different. It's a lot about their traditions, their their dress outfits and styles and stuff. And I just wondered if that was something that maybe you grew up seeing or observing in your part of the world, being in that like community.
Yeah, so I had some friends that came from that culture and that background, and I'd see them post about the traditions that they would do. I think like they would have different dances. I honestly should probably study it a little bit more, but just seeing them have like a scheduled annual event where they pay omens to where they came from. I think that's super cool. Just to keep that tradition and that culture alive for them. But yeah, talking about art museums, I love the ones that are so different and not, like you said, just like the traditional stuff that you see all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite gallery in Nashville is Chauvet, and I might be pronouncing that wrong.
I need to check it out.
Yeah,
is it on 4th? Because there's where some of the art exhibits are. When they do the annual or the monthly art crawl, it's downtown, and there's like a road down there that has a few.
John Lewis, I think.
Exactly. There's a few art galleries there. Is that where this one is or somewhere else?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Okay, cool.
I went to the art crawl one time.
Yeah.
I always forget. Like the first
I've only gone, I think, twice in my like 10 plus years living in Nashville. And I don't know why I don't go more often. It's a nice thing to do. Absolutely.
It's so fun. Yeah, they have such a cool collection of just different pieces. Definitely my speed. Like, it's not just super realism,
Exactly.
which I love and I respect, but that's not what catches my eye.
So talk to us about your move to Nashville and also like you're venturing into making art for famous people here in town.
Yeah, for sure. So I was in Oklahoma, grew up in Oklahoma, did high school and a little bit of college there before I dropped out. And honestly, I loved growing up there. I miss it sometimes. I'm like so homesick right now. But going into college, I was not in a great place. I was doing all the worldly things and definitely went down that path for a little bit. I was probably not making it to all my classes, partying and all that. And so thankfully, COVID hit and my mom was living up here at the time. And she was like, girl, if you're ready to get out of there, like, I got a bedroom open for you. Just come up here, move in if you want to change. And looking back, I'm so surprised that I did it and, like, got out of that lifestyle. But it honestly probably saved me. Moved up here during COVID, got a bartending job, which I loved at the time, and it was great money. And I met so many people, which have helped me in my career. And so I'm so thankful for that job and the people that I met. And so I just bartended for a little bit and then got really tired of that because it's draining and I can be such an introvert sometimes. So draining. I got out of that, wanted my own schedule, decided to start cleaning houses weekly, which was great for a while. But I was like, I know this is not what I want to do. So I just kept working, practicing, selling art, and finally got the job at Sadie James Hat Co. Thank you, Chelsea.
Yeah.
And it's just been progressing. And I think the biggest thing, I'm so grateful for Nashville. Social networking is huge, right? And I love going out to writers' rounds or any kind of small kind of event that a lot of the tourists don't know about because you can meet a lot of local people. And I've met so many friends at writers' rounds, like artists. And so just connections through that have led me to getting some pieces to some really cool people.
Yeah, and do you
Big
want to
people.
talk about any specific pieces we can show you guys?
Yeah,
what
for sure.
you've
We'll
done?
have to stitch that. Yeah, so I got to meet Ernest, super cool dude, and he has a really cool style about him. He brings like that old country kind of vibe. He has this old Cadillac that's like coppery. It's a vibe. And so I was like, hey bro, like let me do a painting for you. And so he was nice enough to buy a painting from me
Nice.
and put it in his studio. And so on that canvas, I just kept the vibes very Western, deserty, old school, kind of grunge. Put his Cadillac on there since that's his baby, you know? And then on part of it, it's 3 skeletons that represents one of his family pictures. It's him, his wife, and his little son. Yeah, so I just kept that Western element in there that I love.
Nice. And then I met you at Raelyn's birthday,
Yeah.
and I saw her wearing cowboy boots that you had designed for her, which
Yeah.
are super cool.
That was awesome. I'm so thankful that she reached out and trusted me enough with her boots. And then she wanted to wear them to her birthday party that I got to attend as well. So that was awesome. Yeah, she just came to me and was like, I trust you, but like, this is what I want. This is the color theme, which is the best. I love when people come to me and they're like, I don't care. You have creative freedom. This is kind of what I want. That helps me work so much better and like take some pressure off, you know? Because I
Yeah.
definitely have some people, which I'm still grateful for the people that believe in my art, but are very specific about what they want and don't let me have as much creative freedom.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
And where do you work from? Like, do you have a studio in your house, or do you go to a studio to
Yeah.
work from?
So I work in a studio out of my house.
Nice.
It's great.
I have to come see it
because-
sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a mess. Oh my gosh.
I would
Thinking
expect
about it right now.
to be a mess. I mean, as an artist, I've
Yeah.
never been to a studio by an artist that was not a mess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Being a creative with ADHD is wild. It's a wild
Yeah.
experience. And I know there's tons of people like that. So it's great to have a studio in my home because sometimes I will be working on a project late or I'll have insomnia and be like, ooh, I have this idea. And like,
Yeah.
go do it
Yeah.
and get it out of my system and then I can go to sleep.
So I don't know if I told you this when I met you, but my mom is an artist.
Okay. No,
And so my
no.
whole life I've had an art studio in my house.
That's awesome.
In my childhood, it was in the basement. Currently, in my mom's house, it's upstairs.
Okay.
It's a mess, but it's organized in some regards.
Yeah.
She also credits herself with having ADHD
Yep.
and simultaneous projects going on at the same time,
Yep.
and art that's in all different little stages of completion.
Yes.
So I expect that that's kind of what your studio
Relatable.
might look like. Yeah.
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 It's-
And what all are you working on right now?
Oh my gosh, so much. Gosh, I have a pair of boots that I'm doing. I have one canvas commission that I'm doing for a client that's become a friend, and she's a really cool gal. And so we're working on a piece for her. I'm working on a collab with Brother G for him too. So he does vintage clothing reselling. They work with some really cool people too. And so he reached out and was like, hey, if I give you some jeans or like a canvas, like maybe you cut some jeans up, throw it on a canvas and do your art to it. So we did that and then painting some jeans for him to list. So that's exciting. Something different, you know. And then working on my New York Fashion Week outfit right now.
Okay, so
and the
that's-
outfits to wear there.
Yeah.
And I'm forgetting, but I have a whole list right now.
What is your schedule for making art? Is it like a nighttime activity, daytime?
Yeah.
Kind of changes day by day?
Great question. I'm still trying to figure that out. I was actually talking to a family member yesterday who also has ADHD and has a successful company. And they were just talking about how therapists have done studies on people with ADHD who like really need a routine to stay on task. And that's so real for me. And I'm learning that right now but give grace in both places because I do somewhat have a set routine, but I got to give myself grace for when a project does go over time or like I'm up late working on something. I can't always, be up as early as I want to and like got to rest at some point.
What's the latest you've ever stayed up working on a project?
It was a gift for somebody. Well, somebody somebody had purchased Christmas gifts for their friends, which that was where Nicole Combs' jeans came from. Thankfully, her sister Jenna purchased those jeans for me, and I stressed myself out so much about that project because I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is big. Like, I just want to do this so good, and I'm so thankful for the work. So I waited until they needed to be done, basically, because I was stressing myself out about, like, perfecting it, right? So I stayed up the night before until, like, 5 a.m. finishing them.
Do you have a picture of them to show the
I
audience?
do. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll put those in here. So you stayed up till 5 a.m. making these.
Yeah. I am still learning to be better about not putting off projects just because I can get overwhelmed with, like, stress or anxiety about wanting to perfect it. But I'm like, girl, no, like, you just got to do it and have faith in yourself, you know?
Yeah. What did you make for Jelly Roll's wife?
I upcycled a flannel. Like,
Okay.
I upcycled a flannel. How to think of the word. And just did a picture of her logo on the back of it. So it was like casual wear, something that she'd wear, you know.
Cool.
How
did that come about as well?
I'm friends with her makeup artist, Haley, such a sweet gal. And I was able to get that commission to her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Picture of that as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. For Bunny. Well, so we've gotten into, like, your past and we've gotten into your present, but, like, future, like, where, you know, this podcast is called Leaving a Legacy. What is the legacy that you want to leave with your career and your art?
Yeah. I think my biggest thing that I've experienced my whole life is learning to be authentic and myself. And there's reasons why I am the way that I am and how I do things. And I know that, you know, God created me that way. And so still learning. So I'm talking to myself when I say this, but the biggest thing that I want to do is just show people and encourage people to be themselves and to not change, even though it's so easy to want to try to fit in. But, you know, do your best to not do that. So moving forward, I honestly, my only goal is to, you know, continue to do this for as long as I can. Obviously make money from it and be able to live in this wonderful economy that we have.
And point to our creator.
Yes,
for your pieces.
Of course. Yeah. I don't necessarily have big goals that I want to do. I know that I have different areas that I work in. Like, everything can be painted and upcycled. So, like, you know, dabbling in furniture, clothing, canvas, jewelry making, hat making now, like, all kinds of things. I'm just kind of letting.
What about, like, murals or walls? Like,
I did one for an Airbnb, my friend's Airbnb, which was nice that she let me do that for, like, practice. I definitely need to make more time to practice murals because I would love to do some more.
Yeah.
I honestly recently thought about reaching out to my old school in Oklahoma because I have family out there that I visit. So if it worked out a time where I could go do a mural for them and kind of give back for free, you know, I think it'd be awesome to go and like get some practice in for murals. So it kind of works out.
And like your own version of graffiti almost in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Love graffiti.
Yeah. And so furniture, have you done that yet or planning to?
Yeah, I've done a chair. It was one of those like see-through acrylic chairs.
Okay.
Yeah. It was spray painted.
Yeah.
It was super fun. I definitely need to do some more of those, but it's a lot harder to work with.
My mom does a chair for a auction or some kind of charity, though. It's like a charity chair in Atlanta, but it goes up for auction, and then the proceeds go to some charity.
Cool.
So it's been something.
You're definitely gonna have to show me.
Yeah,
her
well,
work.
Maybe I can show you guys her latest chair because I think the latest one was pretty cute, if I remember.
Yeah,
she's done it for many, many years, and so
that's so cool that she does that.
Yeah,
yeah.
But yeah, I grew up with her doing like children's bedrooms a lot of times because you know that kids' bedrooms are usually like weird with something painted in them anyway. So it's like the perfect place to bring an artist in and have them paint a dinosaur or paint a unicorn or the space theme or something like that. But then she would also often like buy some furniture from Goodwill and then paint it in leopard print or something to make it cool and like fit the house a little better.
I love that. I love upcycling pieces.
Yeah, exactly. And when did you start upcycling yourself?
I started thrifting in high school, really. Yeah. And then about 3 years ago, I kind of figured out like, I can actually do this and have confidence in myself for that.
Is that what you do at the hat company, Sadie James? Is that what you're doing there as well? Is like upcycling the hats essentially or no?
So we actually start from the cape line of the hat. So we, size the person, we'll measure their head and then stretch it over whatever block size fits their head. And so that takes about a day to dry and then goes on to shaping and cutting down the brim. And then it comes to design work.
And then is that where you're stepping in and really like being creative, painting and styling? And did you style the hat you're wearing?
I actually did not.
Okay.
I totally forgot to grab a hat from my house this morning. And so I was like, yo, can I take this hat with me? She's like, yeah, girl.
So she designed this. Okay, so representing her work as well. Nice.
I think this was like when she first started. It's definitely not a recent hat, but I love it. It's different. It kind of gives that like graffiti kind of vibe.
Exactly.
That I like. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, so that's a lot of fun at the hat shop, and it's definitely opened me up to a new world that I didn't know that I'd ever be a part of, especially knowing all the steps to actually make it and not just the designing process. So I believe she said it's like a 75-step process to make a hat. Oh. Yeah, it's wild. A lot of work.
More than you would expect.
Yeah. I get like an arm workout from stretching hats,
really?
Like legit. It's crazy.
So how long have you lived in Nashville?
I moved back in 2020, so it would be 4 years now.
Okay. So what are some of your favorite restaurants, spots, shopping, all that stuff?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I love going to Franklin for food.
Yeah.
Trying out little spots there.
Like downtown Franklin or like
I love downtown
suburban?
Franklin.
Okay.
I just love the vibe.
Yeah, it's cute.
So Hallmark.
Yeah, it is.
My obsession lately, funny enough, has been condado tacos. Nothing fancy. But
I've not been there yet.
The protein bowl is phenomenal.
Okay. And is that downtown Franklin? Or is it like
they do have one off McEwen, but there's one over in Capitol View.
Oh, okay.
It's like downtown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They might have more locations.
I might have been to the one in Capitol View, but I'd have to see it in person to know if I've been there, but okay.
So good. Jeff Ruby's.
Okay.
If you're ballin'.
Have never been there.
Okay. Oh my gosh, you gotta go. That's like always my birthday request to my family.
Really?
Yeah.
Where is it?
It's downtown. I could not tell you what street it's off of. Okay. But phenomenal. Like it's a steakhouse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the service, insane. It's so cute because like, you get dressed up in heels and like the waiters, when you get up to go to the restroom, they'll link arms with you and escort you to the bathroom. It's so cute. And I just could talk about it for days. I'm obsessed with that place.
Jeff Ruby's.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that you're giving me like things that I have never heard about in this town that I've lived in for a long time to go see.
Yeah.
Okay. Keep it coming. What else?
Man, I've been so busy. I can't even think of places. Coffee.
Shopping.
Yeah.
And a Friday night out in Nashville.
Yeah. Okay. Coffee. Just Love Coffee, probably.
Okay.
It's a good one. Definitely I like their mission statement, too.
Same.
So, I love that place. There's a great coffee shop close to our shop, downtown Franklin. The Coffee House on 2nd and Bridge,
I haven't been there yet.
Yeah, it's super cute. Yeah. It's like this old house. And so, I love their interior design in there. Shopping. Gosh, I'm like... Hobby Lobby. I'm like
Hobby Lobby, yeah.
All my shopping is for art supplies. Has been there lately, yeah. Like, oh my gosh, there's a great art store in Nashville, and I cannot think of the name. But any art store, like I can't honestly think of the last time I went shopping for fun.
Do you still
clothing.
Like vintage or like thrift shop?
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, definitely Goodwill.
Yeah.
I would love to find some more thrift shops outside of Goodwill.
Same.
But I feel like there's not like a ton here.
No.
That aren't marked up super crazy.
We have like Buffalo Exchange, which is okay priced. Right. But you're right, because then you hit the ones in East Nashville and it's like $75 for a t-shirt. And I'm like, or it's
Is this
$3
thrifting? I'm
at Goodwill.
confused.
So it's such a difference in price. Yeah.
100%. So yeah, I love to thrift. Also obsessed with the Facebook Marketplace.
Okay.
Why? I don't know. It's like another social media. You know, I'm just like scrolling. What
Yeah,
do people
what can
have
I
listed
find?
today?
What have you bought
It's
off
so
Facebook
ridiculous.
Marketplace recently?
I actually bought this high top table for my studio
Okay.
because I have a desk where I can sit, but I'm like, dude, I've got to have a place where I can stand up and do some work. So
Yeah.
great purchase, $30.
Nice.
Yes,
Yeah,
love a good
'cause
deal.
people are just like giving stuff away on there.
Basically, it's great.
Yeah.
It's my favorite. And then going out wise, love Riders Rounds. Like I said, it's just so fun to see more like undiscovered artists or kind of up and coming artists.
Yeah.
Before they get big. So much talent there.
Which Riders Rounds do you like to go to? Like which locations?
So I love my friends that do Raised Rowdy,
Okay.
Nikki T and Baril. I don't know if you know them, but they're like the best people. So fun.
I don't know.
Yeah, so they host some Riders Rounds. They used to be at Live Oak, but they have moved to Losers.
Okay.
So that's a fun venue.
Yeah.
I love Midtown
Yeah.
until like now it's kind of being more discovered by tourists.
Is
So
it?
it's not as fun, you know.
Yeah.
You got to go like during the weekdays. It's,
Okay,
like,
that's
better.
a good time.
Yeah.
Because Winners and Losers used to host Whiskey Jam, but it's not there anymore.
No, that's downtown.
Yep.
Which I would
Downtown.
love to go to that, but it's like
Different
such a
vibe.
drag to go
Yeah,
downtown.
parking.
Yeah.
And a lot more tourists
Yeah,
around you. So
exactly.
I've never been to the new Whiskey Jam
Yeah.
either because of the change.
Right.
So
I've been like once and it was cool, but I was like, oh, I miss it in
the old-
Midtown. Yeah.
same.
Yeah. But that's about it. I really don't get out. Thankfully, my lifestyle has changed a lot this year and I've just gotten more into physical health, mental health for sure. Like, I do love a couple beverages, but it's just such a drag the next day. Like, it's so funny when you're younger and you hear, like, maybe your parents or just different adults talking about, oh my gosh, I'm hungover for 3 days. And they're not kidding. Like, the mental fog, like, it's just not worth it
Yeah.
when you have work to do,
Yeah.
you know? So, like, I can't afford
Yeah.
to.
I haven't had a
Have that.
drink in 8 years.
That's awesome.
But when I was drinking, it was those longer
yeah.
recovery
Yeah.
times. And
It's crazy
so-
how that happens.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's awesome, though, that you've
Yeah.
been sober that long.
Yeah, thank you.
Big accomplishment.
Yeah, some things. My dad got sober before me, so he's been sober for I don't know how many years, but like I think almost 20 now or
Yeah.
something. So he was
Okay.
definitely an influence on me to get there as well.
That's awesome. I was going to ask that if he kind of
Yeah.
influenced you.
Yeah, he was never telling me to, and it was
Okay,
never
well, that's
like
great, though.
you have to do this or anything. But I think just watching him walk
Yeah.
his walk was kind of like, okay, I'm going to be like my dad someday. you
Yeah.
know?
I love
That
that.
was good. Exactly.
It's a good influence to have.
Yeah, exactly.
Not everybody has that at
Exactly.
home.
And my mom never was a big drinker. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen my mom drunk.
Really? That's awesome.
And I don't even know if I've ever even really seen her drink at all, although I know she did.
Yeah.
But I think she also gave it up too because of the hangovers that you're talking
Right.
about.
Yeah. It's
It's
not
just
worth
like
it.
migraine headaches and stuff like that
Yeah.
was something she didn't want to get. So
Yeah. Well, I love that.
yeah. But so health, like what do you do physically? Like when you say health, like is it hiking or gym or
I do love to go on hikes. I haven't been in quite a while. I do have a membership at the gym, and then my family has been nice enough to let me go to their trainer
oh
and, you know, pick up the tab there.
Hey.
It's great. I love it. And my trainer's the freaking best. It's great because I can go in there and not only work on physical health, but
yeah.
also mental health because he's so good to like check in and talk to me about things and we can talk about life and all that. So it is crazy to learn how much physical health plays into mental
Yeah.
big things. Yeah.
And what kind of routine is he training you? Like
We changed up. We usually do full body weights and hit.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's good. I'm glad to be back in that fitness routine because I just feel so much better. Mental
Yeah.
clarity. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like a big workout kid when I was in college. And then when I finished college, I still went at it for the next like 4 or 5 years. But then I just like realized I was just repeating the same routine I used to do in college and I wasn't really changing it. So I got a trainer. And so
Okay.
now I have a trainer who gives me a routine to follow for
Love that.
it's like 4 workouts a week.
Okay.
And then after 6 weeks, it expires, and then he writes brand new routines.
Nice.
But I don't ever have to do it with him in the room. So I'm just doing it by myself. But at least it's like instructions. Like I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, I got to do all this.
I definitely need that.
I like that style because it's also very cheap. Like he doesn't charge me more than $50 to do that.
That's nice.
I'm paying him $50 every 6 weeks.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Which is super cheap compared to having a trainer with you who you're probably paying $50 for one in-person
for sure.
like training.
Sure.
So it's like really cheap in comparison.
Yeah, that's so nice to have that plan to keep you on track.
Yeah, and I love instructions. Like, because if I see them, I'm like, okay, gotta do that one, gotta do that one, gotta do that one. And I really seldom ever skip out on anything unless I'm at the gym and it's like so crowded and I can't get on a machine at all. And then I'm like, well, I'm gonna miss this one today. But you know,
for sure.
Usually
I think like the 4 a week is like a good, reasonable amount.
Yeah, because I usually can kind of take the weekend off and like one day in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
Or figure out, you know.
For sure.
Life is hard to always work out every day.
It's so hard. Yeah. So I kind of just like leave that in the air. I don't have set days, but I'm like, I know this is my schedule for the week since it changes every week. So try to get it in where I can.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, cool. And so you said earlier on that you were working with some brand collabs. Did you get a chance to kind of share that with the audience yet, or do you want to?
Yeah, I can talk about it a little bit. I'm not sure 100% where it's going to go, but I'm excited that these opportunities and ideas were presented to me. So one of my good friends from Bible study hit me up and was like, hey, I have this idea for a clothing brand. So we had a good conversation about that, and we were working towards legalities, of course, that goes on, and then just design work and the concepts behind that. And we are really going to base that off of mental health.
Okay.
But staying away from like the cheesy side.
Yeah.
No hate to like any brands, but you know, we don't want it to be like super cheesy. Like you might see some brands out there and kind of keep it with that street / Western feel.
Okay.
You know? So my vibe. And then, so I'm super excited to work on that right now and hopefully release that in the next couple months. And I don't know if I can totally talk about the next one, but I did get a really cool opportunity to work on this other clothing brand, which is funny that they both happened in the same week, which that one will be so fun. And the people that are involved are super dope. So I hope that works out. Glad for open doors.
We'll keep our eyes on your social media.
For sure.
Where can everyone follow you and find you?
Yeah, so TikTok and Instagram, y'all can find me at Chloe Nache.
How do you spell that?
ChloeNache.
Easy enough.
Yeah. I gotta get better, dude. That's like so hard to run a business, have a job, work out, and then do marketing and social media. Like that's a full-time job.
Yeah.
Like I understand why people are paid so much.
Yeah. I mean, as a singer, creative person, I feel like I often kind of leave that part to neglect sometimes.
Yeah, same.
I'll spend a whole day writing a song and I'll be so passionate about it. But then when it finally comes out, I'm like, hey guys, here's a quick post. It's out. And then do nothing more, you know? So I mean, that is such a hard thing because you're constantly creating things. Yeah. But then the whole job of like sharing it and pushing it in people's eyes feels a little salesy sometimes. And you're almost like, I don't want to be cringe myself in my approach to letting everyone else know that I just dropped a single or there's a music video out, you know? So I also feel like I kind of understand the frustration.
So that's definitely something I need to work on, but I feel you on that.
We all do, right? Sometimes I feel like Charlie Puth is pretty creative when it comes to him releasing a song, and he'll make these kind of viral little TikToks of him, I got a song out and this is how I made it, and he's all wacky and weird, and I'm like, I wish I could be like him.
Yeah.
Like, some people just get it, and some people
I think
don't.
I got to keep up with the times, but don't take my advice or do, I'm not sure. Yeah. I think something that like popped off for music is making a trend to your audio. So like, you know, like a dance or whatever. And then people just use that audio for that trend. Yeah. That has been a big thing.
I should do that. But like, well,
that's okay.
I need to do things like that. Exactly.
Yeah. It's hard.
Have you had to try to do something like that with your stuff though?
I have pondered on it. Yeah. I have not come up with anything yet, but maybe like a giveaway type thing, like whoever posts the best, whatever trend it is. I don't know. That's something I've thought about.
I bought some art in Portugal a couple of weeks ago because I walked by the street and a guy had a sign outside saying, my art is made from red wine and coffee.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Cool.
And then I walked in, I looked at it, and it was all very beautiful. But then as I like bought 2 pieces from him, he started like making me bookmarks on the spot. So it was like a little free gift
cute.
with the
I love
purchase.
that.
And then I was
Yeah.
like, okay, well, I'll give these bookmarks to my parents, you know?
Yeah.
So that was like a nice like
I
bonus.
love that. Yeah, I definitely love, especially for the people that are repeat clients. I definitely take care of them, like price-wise, just because you got to take care of the people that take care of you, you know?
Yeah.
But I love throwing in like small freebies, whether it's for girls, like my jewelry, because that's like quick and easy to make, you know? So I love throwing that in. Just
And if someone wants to commission you, like what's the best way to approach you? Instagram DM or?
definitely Instagram DMs. At the moment, I'm working on website stuff. I do some on Etsy.
Yep.
A lot of my canvas sales have been local, thankfully, because one time I tried to ship a canvas and it wasn't that big either, and it was going to be like $300. And it was for one of my friends out of state, and she was a new mom, and I knew she was spending a lot of money on a newborn, and thankfully she was able just to drive up and get it.
Okay, good.
But yeah, like $300 is insane for shipping.
Something you don't think about, because it's not like it's a poster where you can kind of roll it up in small. It's like a canvas.
Right. But I definitely need to work on more website things. But for now, Instagram DMs, and it's been great so far.
Dope.
You can also find some of my pieces at Sadie James Hat Co. in downtown Franklin.
Hey,
Yeah.
okay.
Chelsea's nice enough to let me keep some of my stuff in there.
What do you have there right now?
I have multiple canvases in there, a little clothing rack with some jackets that I've painted, a lot of my jewelry. Jewelry's been super fun. Like when I get burnt out on a project, but I still want to do something and not like go on my phone, you know, just put together some earrings or like a necklace, and it's fast and it keeps me engaged and productive. So.
Do you paint it once it's done, or you're just building it? Like, are you building? You said you put together a necklace or earrings, but are you also like painting them at the end of the process?
So I have painted a few earrings, like leather earrings. It's great too because Chelsea lets me keep some scraps, leather scraps from the hat shop. So I have a whole tub of leather scraps. It's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I've painted a few, but it's mostly just the hardware and the chains and leather.
We'll have to come and see it.
For sure, yeah.
Cool.
You got to come in.
Well, thank you for joining us today on this week's episode of Leaving a Legacy with Chloe Nache. You guys, I hope you enjoyed it, and we will stay tuned for next week.
Thanks for having me on.